Okay, we're going to run through the installation of one of our Redarc dual battery kits into a 200 series Landcruiser, and also just look at the differences between a model that comes out with 2 batteries from Toyota or the model that comes out with a single battery. So this is one of the models that comes out with 2 batteries from Toyota. These ones have been changed to bigger batteries, and we recommend doing that if you're going to separate the 2 and use one as a start battery, one as an auxiliary battery. We do recommend putting a bigger crank battery in the passenger side as the start battery, and then a cycling battery on the other side to use as the auxiliary battery. If the vehicle comes out with 1 battery, it's one of those models, then it would be situated on this side and it would be already a bigger crank battery. So we can leave that in place a deep cycle over here and put our Redarc kit in to do the charging and solar controller. So I'll get into the kit and we'll see one other step that if you've got dual batteries already, that we have to remove the link cable. But firstly, we'll get this panel out, show you where the Redarc's going to go, and show you how to go about installing it into your 200 series. So the first step is to remove this plastic panel in between the radiator and the front grille, and this is the location where the BCDC is going to go. So to take out this plastic shield, all we do is push these clips in, and I'll show you a close-up of one of these. So you'll see they're flush at the moment. All we're going to do is push those in, and that will release them and allow us to pull these clips out. And just be mindful that they don't go flying through the air. Just one at a time, lift, and you can pull those pins out. To reinsert them at the end, it's just a matter of pushing that tab all the way back out so that it's protruding from the top, placing it back in the hole. Once it's in the hole, we push that down flush and it's locked back in again. So I'll go ahead, take out all these clips, remove the tray. All the clips are out. This tray will just pull away them, and we'll place it aside for now. Now you'll see this cable in the model that has 2 batteries from Toyota. You'll see a linking cable joining the positives of both batteries. To run it as a dual battery system, we need to remove this cable so that the batteries are now separated, and our Redarc will then act as the isolator and the charger. So we'll go ahead and remove this cable. If you've got a 200 series that only has 1 battery, you won't have to do this step. So you can move on to the next step. Okay, so the next step, now that we've got the grill out, we've had the dual battery link disconnected on the models that have 2 batteries, it's time to install the Redarc. So the first thing we're going to do is remove this horn. So it's a 12mm socket there. So this is where the Redarc bracket mounts, utilising this bolt. That bolt there, the other 10mm bolt, and also there's a thread down there that doesn't have a bolt in it at the moment, and that bolt will be included in the kit. So that's the 3 holes that mount the bracket of the Redarc charger. So we're just going to leave that horn hang for the moment, keep that bolt. So that was a 12mm, the next one is a 10mm. Keep that bolt as well. I'm going to grab our kit now. So I'm going to feed the Redarc in from this way just so the cables aren't in our way. Under here, and basically sit into position. So for starters, we'll just go and finger tight put our bolts back in. So I'm going to start with this 10mm just to hold the Redarc in place. That's finger tight. Now I'm going to grab that horn and I'm going to put the bolt through the Redarc bracket, then through the horn, and just do that finger tight as well for now. And if you open up the pack, you'll see the pack that the kit comes with. Inside there will be a little bag with another bolt. So that's a 10mm bolt as well. In this particular model, we've got a thread in the frame, so we don't need the nut. So it might be a bit hard to see down there, but there is a thread in the frame Just going to line that up. So there we go, we've got that finger tight as well. So you might be able to see down in there that third bolt going into a thread in the frame. So that's our 3. Now that they're finger tight, we can go ahead and do them all up tight. Okay, so we've got our Redarc all mounted, and all 3 of our bolts are done up tight and secure. So the next step is to route our cables. So you'll notice there's one smaller harness and one larger harness. The larger harness splits into 2, so we've got our auxiliary battery connection and also our solar. So an Anderson plug to plug our solar into. The smaller harness goes over to our main battery. So I'm just going to lay them basically in position. So main battery is going to be this side, auxiliary battery is going to be this side. So the Anderson is long enough that you can have it up in the engine bay. In this case, we've actually got a solar panel on the roof. Right here, so we're going to plug straight into there, so you can put permanent solar straight into the Redarc, and then you can also unplug that and use it for portable solar. It's also long enough to come out onto a bull bar if you want to mount on a bull bar, so there's a few options with the Anderson for the solar. So the first thing we're going to do is route our cables into the start vehicle. So we're going to do that. If you have a look in here, we've got a plastic shield here. So this plastic shield right next to the headlight. So we're going to go through this gap here, and that'll get us straight into the engine bay. So I'm just going to go ahead and feed that through. So I can feel it inside the engine bay. You can see there's the cable already. Get that fuse holder through, and the earth to follow. Grab them both on the inside. And to make sure 100% that you've got the right harness, you'll notice their labels. So we've got main battery on this fuse holder. So we know that we're going to the main battery, main start battery. So there we go, we've roughly got that one in. I'm now going to thread this cable under charger towards the other side. So we're just going to go through this location beside the headlight again now for the auxiliary battery connection. And once again, good to just check. So it's labelled auxiliary battery. So we're just going to feed through this section. I'm going to grab it on the other side so I can see it coming through. So firstly, I'm just going to feed our fuse holder, the bulkiest part of the harness there, through, and try and grab that on the other side. Now that the fuse holder's through, we'll just follow through with the earth. See if I can grab that as well. Yep. So I've got both ends of our harness. I'm going to thread that through fully. Put our cable tie back on there. So there we go, we've got our accessory, our auxiliary battery connections are in the right location. So I'm just going to follow that. In this case, we're putting the Anderson plug through here as well to plug into his portable, his permanent solar on the roof. So I'm just going to get that Anderson plug to come through too. Got that through. So there we go. We'll just sit that there for now. Okay, so now that we've got our cables through, it's probably a good chance to go and secure them all. So you can see we've got a lot of bracketry around here, so we want to tie it away from certain things. Like we want to avoid this oil cooler, we want to avoid any air conditioning lines if there was any in the area, anything hot, or definitely anything that moves, fans. So it's good to try and keep it to bracket. So we've got a good bracket here. We can tie it to the side of the Redarc mounting bracket. Same on the other side for the harness going towards the main battery. We can tie to the horn bracket, the radiator fan bracket here, and that's going to keep it up out of the way. It's not going to restrict airflow coming through the grill, and it's going to make sure that our harness doesn't rub through anywhere. So in the pack we've got a bunch of cable ties as well, so if we pull them out now and utilize some of them. So I'm just going to go through and make sure our auxiliary battery harness is sitting in the right location, and then go ahead and just apply some cable ties. One there. Going to secure the cable down underneath a bit. There's another main bracket down there close to where we put the that bottom 10mm bolt in. I'm going to secure it there. So that's our auxiliary harness. I'm now going to do the same sort of thing with our main harness. Cable ties there. Once we're inside the engine bay, we've got a wiring loom in here, big wiring harness. That's always good to tie to as well. Okay, now we're going to cut all those cable tie ends off, and then we'll make the electrical connections to the battery. So the next step is to make our electrical connections, and we're going to start with the auxiliary battery. And if you are wiring up at the same time any accessories to it, sockets in the rear, you can make all the connections together. So in this case, he's already got a lot of stuff running off this auxiliary battery. So we're going to put all those on. I'm going to start with our dual battery charger. And then I'm going to start with his fridge feed that he's got down here. Put all of his other terminals on that he already had here. Connection up, and I'm going to cable tie his fuse holder using another cable tie from the pack around the battery hold down clamp just to secure it. Into place, and maybe another cable tie here. Around that harness, just making sure that everything's secure. So now we're just going to make the negative connection. And this one is one of the models that came out with an auxiliary battery like we mentioned earlier. So it's already got a body earth and everything to it. You don't actually need a body earth in this kit. It is actually all earthed through the kit. If you're wiring all your accessories back to here, like negative and positive, so your sockets to the rear, anything you run off the battery is earthed back to here, you don't need a body earth. The only reason you would need to put an earth on the body would be if you were running something high current down the back like an inverter, and you wanted to earth it down the back rather than running the earth back to the battery. But this one comes out from Toyota with an earth connection, so we're just going to leave that in place. Do up that. And I'm going to plug our Anderson in. So you'll notice the Anderson's got solar input. I'll plug that into his panel on the roof. And you'll notice already we can see the Redarc would have fired up now saying solar. Already it's charging the battery off of solar. So over on the main battery now, once again we'll start with the positive, and we might start by securing the fuse holder into place. Like so. We'll flip this around, making sure main battery, check again. and red to positive, obviously, black to negative. So just good to triple check those things. So we'll do up our positive connection, nice and tight. And now we'll go and do our negative. And that's the full completion of the installation of the Redarc charger. So you can see we've done that whole install with basic tools, a 12mm, a 13mm and a 10mm spanner or socket, and a pair of side cutters for our cutters. That's all the tools we've needed to do the full install. You will notice one other thing in the kit. The Redarc bracket comes with a template, and that template is designed to take a cutout, if you want to, into that plastic shield that we took off here. The cutout will allow us to see those lights, just to see that the Redarc's charging. If you're plugging in portable solar, you can quickly see at a glance that yes, the solar light's on, so the Redarc can see the solar system. So it's a good idea to follow the template in the instructions, make that little cutout in the plastic, and it's a little viewing port. So you'll notice the template that is in the instruction manual with the Redarc bracket, and this shows where we're going to make our cutout or our viewing port. So I'll just show you what this refers to. So we can see here it says align with duct edge, and then it's got a little dotted line here that says plastic surface transition between smooth and textured. So I'm going to show you what that's referring to. So I'll grab the grill. So you can see that's basically our edge of the template. So where it says align with duct edge, we're talking about this edge here. The next part where it says the smooth transition, if you look at closely here, you can see rough plastic and then a smooth transition where the plastic goes smooth. So that's the line that we want to line up there with our smooth transition. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this one using this template, cut the hole out, and then we'll show you what it looks like. And then we'll test the whole system. So there you go, there's our viewing port. You can see, so we can see into the Redarc, we can see our important lights. We want to see solar, we want to see vehicle, and we want to see the stage light. So now we'll go ahead and show you how to test the system. So we can already see that it's working on solar. I'm going to go and start up the vehicle now, and we should then see the vehicle light come on. Vehicle's running right now, the engine's running, and you can see the vehicle light has come on, saying that it's now charging via the vehicle. So that's how we can test that our dual battery system is working. We've seen it on vehicle, we saw it on solar. The solar is actually not really in the sun right now, that's why the solar light has gone out. It's prioritising vehicle. If you're driving along in full sun though, it would actually have the solar and the vehicle light on, and it would green power prioritise, so it'll take as much from solar as it can before it takes from the vehicle. So I'm going to go shut the vehicle off here.